Hey, Teanna here, and welcome back to my channel. I don't have my, if y'all hear Andre and Julian, ignore them. Anyways, I don't have my glasses on today because Andre got me a ring light, finally. And so I see the circle on my lenses, so I took my glasses off. But I'm here today because I've been seeing a lot of like baby mama videos, just in terms of like, why would you want to be a baby mama, stuff like that. So I figured I would come on here and talk to y'all. It's because, I mean, technically, I'm engaged to be married, and I'm getting married in 6 months. I don't think I've ever told you guys the date that we picked, but I get married in 6 months. But technically, I'm a baby mama. I'm a fiance. But prior to me being a fiance, technically, I'm a baby mama. So, I have some points that I wanted to hit. I'm gonna make sure I hit them so I don't get too sidetracked. I put them in my tablet. Let me see if I can get to them. Okay. So just in terms of the videos I've been seeing, and this is just from my personal experience, I'm gonna give you guys a little background. So Andre and I have been together since we had our first date in September of 2014. Our first date was actually September 28th of 2014. Ignore this. This is another tripod that I'm holding. But it was September 28th of 2014 with our first date. We're in December of 2020, and we are still together. We have one son who will be 2 in March. So we got pregnant in 2018 with our son Julian. So at the time when we got pregnant, we were almost 4 years into our relationship. But even still, before I became pregnant, we fell into that social construct of people asking us, so when do you guys, because we lived together at the time. So we fell into that social construct of, so when are you guys gonna get married? So when are you guys gonna get married? What are your plans? Like this, that, and third. And then even after we had Julian, it was, okay, so y'all gonna get married now, right? Like, and it was just like this big push from everybody else of what our relationship should look like because we lived together, or what our relationship should look like because we were pregnant, or what our relationship should have looked like because we had given birth, or because I had given birth, I should say. But it was like this daunting thing that people felt like they had to ask us. Even now, during the pandemic, it's still, so when's the wedding? Are you getting married? Are you still getting married? Are you gonna just be engaged for a long time? Like, we still get those types of questions. If I'm squinting, I'm sorry, I can't see. But I remember a few days after we got engaged, because he proposed to me on December 28th of 2019. So after I got engaged, I went to work whatever that work date was after that. I went to work, and I got a lot of congratulations and stuff like that because some of them followed me on social media. But I heard, oh, congratulations, even though that should have happened before the baby. And I just don't understand why that's important. Like, why does that have to matter to you, whether I am married or not and having a child? But I do understand the conversation of why are people choosing to be baby mamas. For one, I make jokes about it, and I'll jokingly call myself a baby mama, and I'll jokingly call Andre my baby daddy sometimes. He hates when I do that. My sisters hate when I do that, because technically I'm not, like, that's not what we are to each other. And even if, God forbid, for some reason we don't end up married in 6 months, which I don't see that not happening, we're definitely getting married. But let's say for some random reason it doesn't work out, knock on wood, it still wouldn't be a situation where he would be my baby daddy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that being the reality of my situation. But I understand where people are coming from, because in this era of social media where you see, whether it's here on YouTube, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, TV, reality shows, whatever, we do live in a world where being a baby mama is kind of praised, and it's kind of something to aspire to, whether you're having a baby with another popular YouTuber, whether you're a couples channel, whether you are involved with a rapper or somebody in entertainment. It's like the thing to do. And so I understand why now it has that negative connotation, and it's kind of like, ew, like, why is she, like, why, like, I've even heard you might as well get married now. You already live together and have a baby. I might as well just go ahead and do, like, and I think that that's fine for you to feel that way, but don't push that onto people who have children or who have a child with the person. But in terms of how to possibly avoid that stigma, because I don't feel like I personally fall into that category technically, because we're in a long-term relationship, and we have a relationship that's actively meeting goals that we are setting for our relationship. But I made notes just in terms of like what I feel like should be the trajectory of a relationship. If you do plan on having kids with a person, whether you're married to them or not, this is what I feel like. These are like some stuff that I feel like should be involved in your conversations. And this is just based off of my relationship with Andre and the way our relationship is structured, and why we chose, not necessarily why we chose to keep Julian, because not keeping Julian was never a conversation, but in terms of why us getting pregnant wasn't the worst thing in the world, or wasn't something we were afraid of. So the first thing that I have is you have to set a standard within your relationship. And when I say set a standard, you have to go into that relationship knowing what you want that relationship to be. So before Andre and I started dating, he actively pursued me. So I was kind of like, whatever, we'll see how it goes. And I gave him my phone number, cool. And I think I told you this. I don't know if I told you this on our first date story time, but he was actively pursuing me, where he was reaching out to me all the time. Not all the time. Let me not put too much dip on my ship. But he was actively reaching out to me, like, hey, I want to take you out. You're like, I think you're attractive, whatever. And early on, we established that we were dating. Was I probably more serious about our relationship than he was? Yes, but who cares? It was still established that we were dating. We weren't kicking it. We weren't hanging out. Like, he was actively pursuing me. So he was taking me on dates. He was doing things to court me. So if he saw me on Twitter one day, he saw me on Twitter one day, and I was talking about how I really wanted cupcakes, for example. And this is when we were just dating. I was not his girlfriend yet. And I was talking about how I just wanted some cupcakes so bad. And I was just randomly on Twitter talking about it. And one day he called me when I got out of class, and he was like, hey, so what'd you think? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he was like, did you get them? I'm like, get what? And he was like, oh, shoot, go check your door. So at the time I was living in an apartment off campus. So I go downstairs to check the door, and inside of the door, there was a screen door and a regular door, whatever. In between the doors was cupcakes. So he was like actively paying attention to me, actively pursuing me. And I think that that's really important. Not even just in the beginning of your relationship, but throughout your relationship. You have to have a standard set of what you want that relationship to look like and what you want that relationship to be. You can't just hope that the person gets it, and then when it doesn't work out, you're mad. Yeah, when it doesn't work out, all of a sudden you're mad, you have an attitude, or now you're just going with whatever is going on with your relationship. You have to have that standard set from the beginning so that you both know what that relationship is. And that goes into my next point. He has to actively be working at maintaining that standard. So, and I'm not even saying it has to be expensive or it has to be outrageous or like a huge gesture. It could be something small. So when Andre and I first started dating, it was little things because we weren't too far. We weren't too far into our relationship, so it was little things. So it was cupcakes. It would be like whatever, like whatever he would randomly see me mention on social media, like just random stuff. Like if I was talking about how I wanted to go to get food or something, he would call me when he would get off work and be like, "Hey, do you want food?" Like just like little stuff to show that they're actively working at kind of doing stuff to make you happy or doing stuff to make you, I don't want to say make you smile, but to make you want to be around them. If you're with somebody who you have to put the battery in their back for everything, like if I was with Andre and oh my God, I really want some cupcakes. Oh my God, I really want some cupcakes. Oh my God, I really want some, and I have to like if that's and then he's just like, oh, you better go get some, and then you have to go get your own cupcakes. I mean, cupcakes are small, but I'm just saying, let's just say, I can't see. Let's just say that that's what that was. That's a problem. And that's not a relationship that you should be actively pursuing. And it's not a relationship that you should see. It's not a relationship that you should be interested in having kids with this person. Because for what? You know what I mean? Like they're not doing anything worthy of you to want that with them. That's just my personal opinion. Another thing that I think is important is you have to know what kind of person he is. And a lot of that does have to do with a person's just their relationships outside of you. So the way Andre treats his siblings, the way Andre treats his parents, the way Andre treats people he considers like close friends, the way Andre treats strangers, like all of that stuff is important to me in terms of what makes a relationship worthwhile or what makes him worthy of you. You know what I mean? Like if he was one of those people who like let's say we go to the movies or something, and you're rude to the person who gives you the popcorn, you're rude to the person who takes your tickets, you're rude to the person coming through the theater after the movie's over to sweep up the popcorn off the floor, whatever the case may be, you may look at that person like, well, he's nice to me. He's gonna be nice to you because right now you have something he wants. How nice is he to people who have nothing he wants, who don't have anything he wants? That's what you need to focus on. That's what makes that relationship worth investing time and effort and whatever else into. And that's what makes it just in terms of people who have kids outside of wedlock or in wedlock, you can be married. You can be married to someone and having a baby with them is the worst idea ever. Because they're a terrible person. So if you choose to have the baby, you choose to have that baby. Like I said, I'm all about pro-choice. But I'm just saying, and from the standpoint of the baby mama conversation that's going on now, this is my opinion. I think another thing that's important is the kind of woman you are. And when I say that, do not get into relationships with men for the sake of being able to say you're in a relationship, number one. And number two, do not have children with these men for a check. Me personally, whether Andre and I are together or not, Julian is taken care of. I am not worried about me not. I would never be in a situation where I am not able to take care of my child. Never. I would never be in that situation by myself. Not just me and Andre together, by myself. I would never be in a situation where I cannot take care of my child by myself. Andre will never be in a situation where he cannot take care of Julian by himself if he had to. And I think a lot of times we get into relationships with people, and this is where that baby mama aesthetic comes from. Once again, people see Instagram, they see Twitter, they see Facebook, they see YouTube, they see TikTok, whatever you see. And they see, oh, it's so easy to have a baby. It's so easy to take care of a baby. It's so easy, until you have to raise that baby on your own. These people on social media, they have money. They have family members who do anything for them simply because they provide their family member with a check. You cannot operate from that world of, my family will take care of it. I'm going to get on YouTube and blow up because I'm 17 and pregnant. I'm going to get on YouTube and blow up because I'm 21 and pregnant. That is not the rule. These women who get on social media and blow up just because they're pregnant are the exception. They are not the rule. And the ones that did get on social media and have babies for checks, a lot of them aren't even with the partners anymore. So once again, you have to be a strong enough woman to know it may not work out. And that's whether you're married to that person or not. Now, if you're married, yes, you might get divorced, and if you get lucky and you got a little money, maybe you'll get a check. But once again, that's the exception. That's not the rule. You have to be able to stand on your own. You have to be able to have a goal about yourself. Like your goal, let me tell y'all, I want to be a housewife so bad. I want to be a housewife so bad. I want to be a housewife. Andre knows this. I want to be a housewife. And this year, I quit my job for like months, and Andre paid all my bills. He took care of me. Loved it. It was great, but I did end up going back to work because whatever. But that's another thing about what kind of man is he. I was in a position where I wasn't happy at work. I went to Andre. I broke down in tears about it. I said, I can't. And he said, okay, then don't. There was not an argument. There was not a, we can't afford that, Teanna. There was not a, what you think this is? Like there was not that. It was okay, don't. We'll figure it out. I went back to work. I worked for maybe a week. I broke down crying again. I said, babe, I can't. Once again, he said, then don't. And now here I am back at a different place. And I actually like this place. I'm not going to leave this place. But I actually like the place that I am now. And it's a place that I have been trying to get into some years ago. So I'm going to stick with it as long as I choose to stick with it. But the fact that he allowed me that space to have that time, or to have that moment, and to have that, we have that trust within each other, says a lot about the type of man that he is. If you are with somebody, and I'm not even saying you got to have a lot of money. If you can afford that, it could be on a small scale. It could be something as simple as him knowing that you hate driving yourself to work, so he makes it a point to get up a little bit earlier so he can drive you to work. Whatever the case may be, it just has to have that you just have to have that initiative from him. And you have to have that drive within yourself to know, if we don't work out, what am I going to do? If this doesn't work out, what is my next move? You should never be in a situation where you don't know your next move. You should never be in a situation where if it doesn't work out, you are lost in the sauce. And I'm not saying you have to have it together tomorrow, but you definitely should have a course of action. Not just, he'll be back, so I'm gonna wait it out. That shouldn't be your course of action. As a woman, you always have to expect to be able to know how to do it on your own. Like I said, I want to be a housewife, y'all. I'm telling y'all this, but I really do want to be a housewife. That's my goal, to be a housewife and be able to work on what I want to work on. Whether that be YouTube, whether that be Teanna B Creations, whether that be a new business that you guys do not know about that I am dropping next year. But even within that, Andre allows me space to create whatever avenues I want. So, within YouTube, I told y'all he bought my tray. He bought this ring light that I'm recording on right now. Among other stuff that I use for YouTube that he's bought for me. In terms of Teanna B Creations, when I was not working and I needed supplies to make stuff, I would use his card and go up to Michael's and buy the stuff I needed, or whatever the case may be, ordering stuff off Amazon, buying labels, whatever the case may have been. It's never been a problem to where he's like, nope. He's very sure and certain that, okay, this is what you want to do, and I see that you're serious about it, I'm gonna help you cultivate it. And I think a lot of times women get with these men, and men too, because men be trash too and be having 5 baby mamas and whatnot. But I'm a woman, so I'm speaking from that perspective. And they see what these men have, and their goal is, okay, I'm gonna get big on Instagram. I can get big on Instagram. I can get big on YouTube if I have a baby. Okay, but what else? What next? Because your D-list celebrity rapper baby daddy is only he got 6 other kids, girl. He got 6 other baby mamas. How you gonna make that stretch? By the time that trickle down to you, that's what? $500 a month. Not really, but yeah, get what I'm saying. All right, let me get off my soapbox. What's next, Teanna? All right. The last thing I put is know what you want and stick to it. Like I told you guys, Andre and I had our first date September of 2018. Andre got my phone number in like June of 2018. I want to say June, because I was 21. So it was like June, July of 2018. That's when he got my phone number. We had known what our relationship was going to be from the beginning of our relationship. We became a couple in November of 2018. No, not 2018. I'm sorry, y'all. 2014. September 2014, we had our first date. June or July of 2014 is when he got my phone number. November of 2014 is when we became a couple. So, like I was saying, we moved in together in 2016. 2016, we moved in together. Before we moved in together, we knew what our relationship, like what path we wanted our relationship to take. I was telling him, we can move in together, but whether you move in with me or not, I'm moving, because I didn't like where I was. I was like, I'm moving. Whether you're with me or not, I am moving. Okay? And so we just happened to move in together. But before moving in together, we had conversations about what our relationship was going to look like, what we want our relationship to be, how long we wanted our relationship to be, and what stage of the relationship. And so I told Andre, yeah, I might not like when I say this. Y'all might be like, girl, but we moved in together in 2016. Julian was not planned, but Julian was not that much of a surprise, whatever. So, our entire relationship, I had been saying, the year I turned 27 is the year I'm getting engaged. That's what I've been telling him since I've known that we were getting married. You know when you want to marry somebody. Don't act like you don't know. So, we have been having conversations, and I have been saying, when I turn 27, before, I'm sorry, I'm 27 now. When I turn 26, the year I turn 26, I need to be engaged. If you and I are not engaged at any point when I turn 26, by the time I'm 27, our relationship is over. And it's not me giving him an ultimatum. It's me putting a deadline on how long I want to be on the live-in common law era of our relationship. And there's nothing wrong with setting that standard on that and putting a time frame on that. You guys can go with the flow with your relationship if you want to. Next thing you know, you're going to be a girlfriend for 20 years and you wanted to be married 18 years ago. And I don't care about you should be married before you live together. You should be married before you have a kid. Your relationship should go in whatever order you and your partner are comfortable with. Your relationship should go in whatever order you and your partner have spoke about. If you haven't spoken about it going in that order, it shouldn't be going in that order. You shouldn't be surprised by what's happening in your relationship. Your significant other can surprise you. Oh, I bought you flowers. Oh, I bought you jewelry. Oh, I bought you PS5. Whatever. That can be a surprise. Your relationship itself should not be a surprise. And if it is, that's a problem, because that means you have not stuck to what you wanted and you have not told him what you wanted. And that's another reason people become single baby mamas after 2 years being with somebody. And like I said, it has nothing to do with whether or not you're married. It has nothing to do with whether or not y'all mean the world to each other. It's just, you have to know what you want and stand on it. But at the same time, if marriage is not what you want, that's completely fine too. And I wish people on the internet would stop trying to make people feel bad about having a baby and not being married. Now, if you've had a baby with somebody and you want that relationship to work and you know it's an unworthy relationship, that's a problem. And that's toxic and you need to go. If you want to just be a girlfriend, that's fine. If you want to just do the common law thing, that's fine. Because a marriage does not make a relationship less toxic. Let's be honest. We know toxic people who are married. We know toxic relationships, people who are single. A marriage does not make a happy couple. But you have to be able to stand in whatever your choice was for you and your children or your child. It can't be, well, I wanted us to work out, but your dad, he cheated on me. I wanted us to work out, but your dad, he had another baby outside of the relationship. I wanted us to work out, but that means that you're not setting your standards, and that means that you're not sticking to whatever standards you have set, which is a problem on your part. So in closing, don't do that. If you want to get married, get married. If you want to get married, have the conversation. Never be in a relationship having children with whatever, somebody who you can't have a conversation about your relationship with. If Andre and I couldn't have a conversation about our relationship, we wouldn't be in a relationship. Anytime we don't feel good about something in our relationship, we talk about it. Anytime we feel good about something in our relationship, we talk about it. Anytime we feel like one of us can improve on an area in our relationship, we talk about it. Anytime we want to change the direction of our relationship, we talk about it. It should always be a conversation. You got to think of it as a business. Because at the end of the day, a marriage is a contract. So it is a business. You have to look at your relationship as a business. As a partnership. 50% you, 50% the other person. You guys equally own that partnership. You should be 100% invested in your relationship. But I'm just saying, in terms of a partnership, it's 50% yours, 50% theirs. 100%. Andre cannot make changes within our relationship without consulting me about the changes. I cannot make changes in our relationship without consulting with him about the changes. You can make changes to yourself. I can make changes to myself all I want. He can make changes to himself all he wants. But in terms of what we want for our relationship, whether it's where we want to live, whether we want to still get married on this day, whether I still want this, whether he still wants that. If it's regarding our relationship or something that's a creation of our relationship or a product of our relationship, like Julian, it deserves a conversation, and a conversation will be had. But you can't be upset about the connotation of being a baby mama if you have not set the standard of not being a baby mama. And when I say that, I am not a baby. I make jokes about it, but I am not a baby mama. If your baby daddy, and I'm saying baby daddy because I'm gonna explain a baby daddy, is cheating on you, having babies on you, calling you a fiance or a wife, and you have no ring, no prospects in sight, living off of you, doesn't work, but always is whatever, driving around in your car, like whatever the case may be, that's a problem that needs to be addressed. And if you guys have a problem with people being baby mamas, raise better sons. Not saying that in all fronts, but like when you got people like Fetty Waps and the Futures of the world and the NBA young boys of the world, raise better sons. Raise sons who want to have a conversation with you or with their partners. But also don't down women for being products of their situation. Well, that's all, y'all. I'm done. If you have any thoughts about this topic or just have been seeing it going around a lot on social media like I have and want to leave a thought about it down below, go right ahead. Be sure to like this video if you liked this video, or dislike it if you didn't. That's fine too. Share it if you want. And I'll talk to y'all in the next video.